pull up and they clamor for things. And these things don't happen because for the artist, well, you're not really showing that. When Nas and Ray are getting together to do a joint, that should be platinum. Period. You understand? It don't make no sense for them not to do it if it's not that. What are we doing here? At this stage in the game. No, at this stage in the game, because think about it. That's because when you're asking for that, it's like, well, what if somebody like a Paul McCartney and a Joni Mitchell were to get together to do a record? What would it do? Oh, it would go through the roof and be stupid. Because they're legends in their craft and they're well known for doing this, and they're well known for doing this at the same extremely high level.
Well, let me ask you this.
It would show in the numbers, in the money when they did it.
I understand what you're saying.
This is the only genre of music where it gets together and it don't make sense. Mike, Alicia Keys and Nas and Rakim on the record. How do the numbers look?
Well, look, this is what I'm gonna say, and based on your example with Paul McCartney and Joni Mitchell, if they were to do that, the media coverage would be crazy on it. You know what I mean? Like, it would be like on Good Morning America. I think everybody would have knowledge that it was out there. I think one of the problems,
it would be wildfire, Mike.
I think one of the problems is when it comes to our legends and them connecting, we don't get that level of media coverage even from our own media. Even when we talk about Big Boy releasing, the projects he releases, Atlanta radio doesn't get behind it in the way it should. Atlanta television doesn't do the same thing. Or just, let's just say hip hop media in general doesn't do what they're supposed to do when it comes to those legends. Hip hop media is so centric with what's next and what's now. Even when we come up with our overall list, I have to tell people, like, look, you got to look at this kind of like how Rolling Stone does their best vocalist all-time list. We're not talking about who's, it right now. We're not making this an old fart list, but we have to make this a list that, for the people who have the most credentials. And, just to keep it real and just based on the decades that they've been around, artists from the 90s have the thickest resume because artists from the 80s, their careers, most of them outside of LL, spanned around like 6 to 9 years. KRS. The guys who were around, KRS as well. The guys who were around in the 90s, they have careers that span 25 plus years and they're still active. So when it comes to putting together an all-time list, we can't just act like that didn't happen. We need to do better by acknowledging the activity of our legends. And what we also do is the fact that when you have people who don't do anything, like an Andre 3000 or something, it's like we elevate that. We elevate the people who don't put in the work, and the people that are putting in the work, Big Boy, doesn't get any acknowledgement at all. And, to bring this whole thing back around to your example about Nas and Raekwon, I think that if culturally those pairings were made a big deal from a media aspect, we would get the result that it deserves. But just most people would be like, and people who are fans would be like, man, I didn't know they did that. I didn't know that came out. You know what I'm saying?
What kind of shit is that?
It's the lack of coverage. People got their lives.
No. Some of it is our broken mentality too, Mike. So let's go to what you just said. And this is exactly what I mean about a broken mentality. So y'all got a dude who just took 5 years off and dropped the Bad album at number 2. Mm-hmm. And you got a guy that's never done a 3-verse rap song unto himself, let alone have a solo rap album at number 12 on your list. So you're 2 and you're 12. One has only been here for a decade and took half the time off. The other one doesn't have a solo rap catalog, let alone a full solo rap song to speak of with 3 verses. If somebody pulls up in there and says a day in the life of Andre Benjamin, I'm going to lose my cool. Okay? So when you have publications doing these things, and then they do what they did that somebody sent me on Twitter to put the black face on it and have a panel of black people sitting around talking about it and explaining it, That does not rationalize the bullshit of what I see. You can give me 5 black people from different age brackets and demographic. You can have, you can have the sister that was there when Angie Stone was there. You can have the sister that was there when Nicki Minaj, when there was a kid when Nicki Minaj was coming up. You can have your general hip hop heads like you. You can get your nice little panel together, make it look good. I'm not buying what you're selling because what you're selling's not real.
But they're not willing to go out there and even try to sell anybody anything. They're just going to put a list up and post it. Nobody wants to actually debate this list. They don't want to do that. Because whoever put this together, again, it's an open invitation here, anywhere, wherever y'all want to go to actually talk about this and why this list is bogus.
I tear the whole panel up.
Yeah. They can't, but they can't speak to this list.
I make quick work of them.
There's no way on earth anybody could sit here and justify Kendrick Lamar being at this number 2 spot. He doesn't have the resume for it. You know what I'm saying? Like he's done some great work, done some great albums, right? You've been around since 2011. It's 2023. You had a break between 2017 and 2022. So basically your activity looks like 2011 to 2017, and we'll throw 2022 in there, which was some mid whatever. You're not qualifiable to be over people who put in years and years and decades and catalogs, countless catalogs of work. You're just not. And unless somebody just feels like on some LeBron James shit, he's just some leaps and bounds, has technical aspects that we've never seen before or something. And that's not the case.
So this is what I was about to say, Mike. Let's go back to that lyrical miracle thing. Like, I know this seems kind of strange. Like, Kendrick might be the better lyricist, but even when it comes to relationship with Game, I feel like Game even has what you would call more quote-unquote hip-hop quotable verses.
I'm not mad at that.
You feel what I'm saying? Because when people be like, Kendrick's this great lyricist, I'd be like, give me the verse. Be like, what's the verse? People be like, Control. I'd be like, no, give me the real verse where he's just like rhyming and like talking about something. Like, and this is what I mean. It's like, no, give me the verse that lets you know that this guy is outstanding. Like, let's go back to the standard bearer of this. It's like, when I knew Lil Nas was outstanding, it wasn't when I heard New York State of Mind, Mike. It's when I heard AZ rip Life's a Bitch up, and then I heard him come after that and rhyme. You feel me? And I was like, damn, it's like, that's one of the best verses I ever heard. I was like, I think that's one of the best verses I've ever heard, too. You get what I'm saying? Where's Kendrick shit like that?
I woke up
Game got more shit like that.
Yeah. I woke up early on my born day. I'm 20. It's a blessing. I'm a lesson. The adolescent keeps my body now refreshing. My physical frame is celebrated because I made it.
Yes,
wow.
That's what I was like. No, this nigga can still run. It's like, no. The guy that was on the first record, he exists, and he's on the second record, and Mike, guess what? He's on the next record, and he's on the record after that, Mike, and he's on the record after that.
And it wasn't like he was even trying. Like, after that amazing verse from AZ, it's like he came in there. It's like, yeah, that's dope. I'm just going to do my thing. And that's one thing I will give Andre. And he said this on the life, I'm about to say The Great Adventures, A Day in the Life of Andre Benjamin. He just waits to get on the mic, waits his turn. And that's the mentality where it's like, I'm not trying to out-rap anybody. I just wait until, it's my turn to get on the mic and I do my thing. And that's what I get from Nas, too.
How can you hold Kendrick as some sort of supreme lyricist, Mike? Like, Nas has more hip-hop quotables on Illmatic than Kendrick has in his entire career. And I'm not joking when I say that.
And listen, man, and again, I know people think this is the Nas channel, and I'm only going to say this because Nas is the person that they have.
No, this is fair to actually say this because we have one at 2 and one at 3, Mike.
Let me finish my thought real quick. Kendrick doesn't have a New York State of Mind. Kendrick doesn't have The World Is Yours. He doesn't have It Ain't Hard to Tell. He doesn't. I mean, these are just factual things. And if you want to go from the album aspect of it, he doesn't have an Illmatic. That's number one. But individual songs and features and all that, I can name thousands and thousands of Nas records that he is not touching. He doesn't have a rewind. He doesn't. That's just the God honest truth. Whether his fans want to face that or not, that's just the truth. He doesn't have those records. There's no metric you could put out there to put Kendrick Lamar over Nas. No metric.
I mean, so Mike, they just didn't want to have the J Nas conversation. And that's really just what it looks like at the end of the day. Because literally, and I've thought about this, Kendrick's not better at anything than Nas. And I've thought about it, Mike. Like, he doesn't do one thing better than Nas. And when I mean not one, Mike, because everything that he does well, Nas does better. Lyrics, storytelling, album making, number of classic albums, features, hit singles. The shit he does, the shit that Kendrick don't do too. And it's like that's what I mean. It's like when you have put him at 2, it's like how. How? At least with Eminem or Drake, you could be like, well, look at these numbers. Look at these hits. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
Look at these numbers and these hits that Nas and Pac don't have. And Pac has those numbers to a degree.
Pac is, no. Pac is the second highest selling rapper of all time. He got numbers.
No, Drake's officially taking that over.
Oh, has he taken that? I forgot about it.
Yeah, Drake is taking over. Drake is second.
Imagine if Pac was in the streaming era, though. Let's just.
Oh, yeah. Should be a rap.
Eric Terrell with the super chat says Willie D got disrespected on the Grammys.
Why? Because the Ghetto Boys weren't there? How many Southern acts were there? That's what I was going to ask.
Well, all right, so they had Scarface go out there and do his verse on Mind Playing Tricks on Me, but Willie D is saying that they didn't even extend the invite to him. Yes, that's a problem. They didn't extend the invite to JJ Fad either.
Mike, it's the Grammys. That's Scarface. You're Willie D. Like, I hate to be the one to break it to you. It's like Ghetto Boys is an all-time great group. They're an all-time great Southern group. One of those guys went on to become literally one of the greatest MCs to ever walk this planet. And they chose him because that's how the music business works.
You don't think he could have gotten the invite, though? Even if they didn't have time to get to his part on stage, you don't think he could have at least been up
Mike,
there?
I don't even think they really know who Willie D is.
Well, that's a problem.
If you really want to know the truth.
I think that's a problem. But you know
what? It might be a problem,
this problem,
Mike, this problem,
if there is a problem, and, you know, just like, you know, I used to watch the Trump show, Apprentice, and where you assign a project manager, and if the assignment goes bad, it's on the project manager. The project manager on this show was Questlove. So there's the problem. If you got a problem with the fact that Willie D wasn't invited to this show, that's on Questlove. Sorry.
Well, Mike, I heard there was a little flex with Questlove after the show, so some people weren't happy, obviously. There were some after-show issues with Questlove. I'm going to say less.
And I'm glad the LL started off the show by saying, you know, we couldn't get everybody on here. You know, I know some people are going to be left out, but, you know, this is what it is. Boom. But I do think people like Willie D not getting an invite is, you know.
I think you're just asking too much from these white people. I don't know how else to say it.
Well, again, I hear what you're saying.
You were asking too much from these white people. The end.
No. I hear what you're saying, but when you put Questlove as the curator of this, now this is on him. You can't hide behind the white people at this point. The white people then gave you the keys, and if you crash the car, it's on you now.
I'm going to tell you something, Mike. I'm going to tell you something that I told somebody earlier this morning. Black men with money and power have a frightening tendency to behave more like their oppressor than like a black man. And I'm going to leave it right there.
The L Web 100 with the super chat says, Sir Lucius Left Foot is a classic. Yeah, Big Boy got joints, man. You know, people should go back and listen to Big Boy's solo catalog. He got real joints.
Got a lot of hits.
Benji with the super chat says, M released 2 freestyles before the Marshall Mathers LP came out on 2 hip-hop beats, The Watcher and Lightspeed. Plus, he rapped over Eric's sermon on that Redman feature. Are you talking about the one that was, what soundtrack was that on? Nutty Professor? I remember that.
I know what they're talking about. Yeah. I know what they're talking about. That is Nutty Professor. That might be Nutty Professor 2.
Yeah, that was Nutty Professor 2. Yeah, because that was the one that had Hey Poppy on there. I was looking forward to that collaboration too, because even before even before Eminem expressed his adoration for Redman, I always thought they were similar, at least, you know, after listening to the Slim Shady LP. So, yeah, when that came out, because that was before the Marshall Mathers LP, I was like, yo, I can't wait to hear that. And, you know, it was cool. I think one of my favorite Eminem features in that time period was, remember that Mad Rapper record he was on?
Yes.
Mad Rapper is crazy, Slim Shady is crazy.
Yes.
Yeah, that feature was dope.
Yeah, that was dope, Mike. Good call.
Melvin Wright. See, I know his stuff. You know, I'm
No,
not just a
I know you
random
know his
hater.
stuff, Mike. That's why
No, I'm
some of it
talking
is
to the
striking to me
people.
because you do know his stuff and his rhymes, Mike. I think sometimes you know his rhymes better than I do, and I'm like, damn, Mike doesn't listen to more Eminem than me. How can he be such a hater?
Melvin Wright with the super chat says, Coop, you got to keep in mind that Nas is indie now. On top of that, they don't push KD3 in the way that they did KD1 and 2. And that's on them. No promo. I think the reason why they don't push KD2 and 3 is because I think they felt like KD1 was a swan song and they thought he was done. And then after that wasn't the reality, I was like, oh, okay.
You're making my point for me by saying that he's indie.
Mm-hmm.
That means out of pocket.
Yeah, exactly.
Correct.
But I think we also can't be okay with the fact that indie artists.
This isn't a new indie artist. This is Nas, motherfuckers.
No, I feel you. But
this is a regular indie artist.
I think what the fans got to teach the industry, and I think it's happening right now, is you're going to have to start shedding light on indie products because the people are going to be aware of the indie projects regardless because now there's indie media as well. So you're not just going to be able to run the yard in the way you did in the early 2000s where, you know, if you're not on 106 in Park, don't nobody know about your projects, right? You know what I'm saying? It's a different game now. So you're right. I think that what's going to happen is these mainstream platforms, they're going to have to start kneeling to the fact that some of the major artists are indie, but they don't want to help out individuals that they're not in pocket with. And that's the corporate problem. And that's
Correct.
why I've always said Chance the Rapper's rise doesn't make sense. Yeah. So, I mean, I've never seen the Grammy center a show around somebody who nobody was in pocket with. It just doesn't make sense. It's not how they rock. And it's not how they've been rocking ever since either, have they? So he's the only independent artist that they want to do that for, huh?
So I just thought it was very, very concerning that the music wasn't that good.
Oh, yeah. Christopher Hogan with the super chat says, people got to stop saying Pac's not lyrical. Shaking my head. They will. They will. That narrative has gotten old.
It is old.
Because when you say somebody's not a lyricist, what does that mean exactly?
Well, here's the thing.
Are the lyrics in the words or are the lyrics in the flow?
Actually, Mike, I just actually had an epiphany. Pac's the best hit maker by himself, not Nelly.
Okay. I'm fine with that too.
Yeah. Pac's the guy, actually, if you actually just give Pac whatever, because his content.
Yeah. Now, Nelly will make a bigger song, but Pac will make a song with content. But Mike,
even when you say he'll make a bigger song, it's like, but will he, though?
No,
does
you're
he
right.
have something bigger than Dear Mama?
No, you're right, because the thing is, yeah, I mean, hear me out real quick. Nelly has songs that are numerically bigger than Dear Mama, but they don't mean more to the culture than Dear Mama. Or don't mean more to music culture than Dear Mama.
But how much numerically?
I think that those are bigger hits. I think Marvin Gaye's "What's Going On" is a bigger hit than any song that did better numbers than it. You know what I mean?
But What's Going On did numbers too.
It did do numbers, but it didn't do BG's Staying Alive numbers. But it's a more important. You know what I mean?
So I'll
give you that with Pac.
Dear Mama is 3 times platinum. So what do you think is what's Nelly's biggest record?
I think it's Hot in Here, off the top of my head.
I think it's Hot in Here too.
That would be my pick. No, it might be Dilemma actually. Dilemma's big.
No. I really don't count that as his record though. That's what I mean.
It is his record.
It's a collab record. I mean, it's Kelly and Nelly. I mean, come on.
I mean, she sings the hook. It's his song. Okay. It's on his album.
I mean, it's really Patty's song. It's really Patty.
Oh, no, let's not do that. It's his song. That's like me saying that Dear Mama is Sweet Sadie or something.
It is Sweet Sadie.
Mm-hmm.
It's Sweet Sadie done better, though. Crazy enough.
That could be blasphemous. Let me see what these numbers look like on Demilla while you're looking at Hot in Here. Commercial performance. Boom, boom.
Trying to see.
You look it up real quick. Let me go to these super chats. LP with a super chat says, much respect to our boy Leroy, but it's ironic that Jay-Z fans say that Nas fans always bring up Jay. But when Nas gets love, Jay fans come out swinging. It's starting to become that, man. They're on the mat right now. I say that respectfully.
So you're right. So this was Nelly's first #1 song. So this was bigger than anything before.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'll also tell you right now is that the certification for it in the United States is only that of 2 times platinum. So Dear Mama is actually bigger than Hot in Here.
Well, you know what Dilemma
And
did?
it's the better record. That's what I'm saying.
Ho,
Give me
ho, ho,
Hot,
ho,
actually.
ho, ho. You know what Dilemma did? 7
But
million.
by itself as the song?
Mm-hmm. It said the song is sold over 7 million worldwide as of February 2021.
So Dear
But I
Mama
feel you
trumps
with
Hot.
Pac.
But hold on. But listen to what I'm saying. Dear Mama trumps Hot in Here.
Mm-hmm.
Like numbers wise.
That's awesome. I love that.
Right. It's not a question what the record is like.
Yeah. Leroy Green with the super chat says Jay-Z's last 4 solo albums were 100 times more successful than the KD's though, Mike.
Ooh.
Check the tour runs. See, now we got to go to numbers, Leroy. When you get the numbers, and I know we were just talking about numbers, we were talking about hit making, but the fact that you had to go to numbers, it's kind of a L right there. Mamir Thoughts with the super chat says, let's have a KD3 versus American Gangster.
You don't want to do that.
I would like to do that. Yeah, let's do that. Monday.
How many records on American Gangster? You got to make sense.
Good question. It's got to make sense. I don't know if it's... Is it 17? Check it out real quick. Ethan Hill with the super chat says, Leroy missed the Carter's album, which was trash.